Hey, it's Joe, and this is my next project.
We built a garage for a friend of ours, and you might have saw in the other video we did some high shelves, and I also thought he needed some benches. He needed a bench inside and a chop saw station outside, so this is what I came up with. I wanted an L-shaped bench on the inside, and I'll do two benches on the outside separated by a garbage can with the chop saw on top of it. And I usually draw it out in my little book, and the cat comes in. The cat's named Meow. I believe that's cat talk for I'm hungry. The benches will have a little shelf on top where you can set your spray cans or whatever extra stuff you have. I draw it all out, and then I make a cut list and cut all the pieces. And this takes a little while. And then sand them. I knew he would want them crimson, and the first coat of crimson didn't come out correct, so I had to change that.
Hi, my name's Joe. I'm a dirty shop guy. I don't know. One project's going along, and then another project grabs me, and I just don't clean stuff up. I like to piddle, but I don't like to clean. And it kind of ends up like this. Thought I might confess early. I watch movies. I'm always watching a movie when I'm doing all this, just because I like it. And I kind of like all this crap in here. I don't know why, but I do. And this stuff just piles up all of a sudden, quickly. It's not like it's been laying around for years and years. That looks important.
And then I'll start putting all the pieces together, and looks like I've had quite a bit of coffee. I'm moving kind of quick there, and I'm really not that quick a worker. But anyway, I put all the pieces together, and then I stack them up and screw the bench together. You can see in the background, let's see what's in the background. See the shroud, my saw shroud around the radial arm saw? That is a hand-carved wooden fireplace surround, and it's all pegged together. I don't know how old it is, but there's no nails in it. So you know it was made before there was electricity. Somebody carved every piece of that, and I saw it at the flea market and knew automatically I had no use for it, therefore I bought it. When I started putting them together on my bench, I needed a spacer. I don't even know how tall it was. I just grab a spacer and stick underneath that bottom shelf and did them all the same, and worked out pretty good. And it goes together pretty easy. I sand off the feet, and then a little bit of paint. I didn't run these boards through the planer. They're just off the shelf, 2x4s, 2x6s, that sort of thing. This paint is actually a stain like you would stain an outside fence with. I did plane the boards that are going to be on the surface of the bench. I planed them on the side and planed them on the top where they would fit together and not have a crack in them. And eventually I pulled them together pretty tight. I didn't want the crack in the middle. That's where the trash can's going to go, and the chop saw will go on top of that. There's the little shelves with the crimson piping. I don't know if that's piping, but it's a little paint. And then a small amount of sanding, just a touch of sanding, a very little sanding. And I saw this on Pinterest one time. It was a bench, and it had these framing squares inlaid into the corners. I thought that was really good, so I'm going to do it on these. Those also, I painted the crimson color. And pretty easy to do. You just set the board up, where your router, run your router along it, and those fit in, just screw them down after the paint. Time for the examination. No, time for the boiled linseed oil. It just rubs right in, straight out of the can, a couple of coats. Let it dry a little bit between the coats, painted the framing squares. And this is where it fit into this garage. And look at this vise. I repainted the vise and mounted it on that piece of wood, and I like it mounted like that on the wood. And you can move it anywhere you want. And here's the chop saw above the trash can outside. It worked out good. Off to the next project. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed making it. If you did, tell your friends and subscribe. It's important.